Hiya, welcome back to Green Hill Gaming, where I share my passion of video games with the whole wide world. In this video, I wanted to talk about the guest fighters that are coming to Mortal Kombat 1. So sit back, relax, but as always, and more importantly, enjoy the video. And please, you lovely people, let me know what you think of the guest fighters that are coming to Mortal Kombat 1 in the comment section below. I would love to hear your opinions. I will not be talking about returning characters like Ermac and Quan Chi, because they're not guest fighters. Because how could Quan Chi be a guest fighter in his own series? Like, you wouldn't be a guest in your own house, would you? Guest fighters are from other franchises. They're fighters from other movies, TV shows, comics, etc. So Homelander, Omni-Man and Peacekeeper are the guest fighters coming to Mortal Kombat 1. They're not part of the Mortal Kombat universe. Homelander is not from Outworld, Omni-Man is not from the Netherrealm, and Peacekeeper is not from Earth Realm. Okay? So I will only be discussing the guest fighters, which are Homelander, Omni-Man and Peacekeeper. In my opinion, I feel Mortal Kombat 1 has the worst roster of guest fighters ever in the history of Mortal Kombat. That is a big statement to make, but I stand by it. And I will do the very best to back up my massive statement. Okay. I feel that Omni-Man, Homelander and Peacekeeper have such a niche audience compared to the likes of Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Alien, Predator, Rambo, Robocop, Terminator. All of those guest fighters that came to past Mortal Kombat games had a mainstream audience, meaning that more players could connect to those fighters. I feel with Mortal Kombat 1, you would have to be into comic culture, anime culture, to truly be able to connect to the guest fighters, which are Homelander, Omni-Man and Peacekeeper. Homelander is a character from the comic world of Homelander. It's got its own TV show called The Boys. Omni-Man, I literally had no idea who he was before Mortal Kombat 1, and to be quite honest, I still don't know who he is after Mortal Kombat 1. And Peacekeeper is from a comic, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, I actually can't even remember which comic he is associated with. I know Freddy Krueger, I know Robocop, and I know Alien. And I'm 100% certain that the majority, in fact all of the Mortal Kombat fan base, would know who they are. And I also feel strongly that there are people within the Mortal Kombat community who would not know who Homelander, Omni-Man and Peacekeeper is. It's a niche audience. As I mentioned, they're not mainstream. Homelander is not mainstream, neither is Omni-Man or Peacekeeper. If you don't watch The Boys, or if you haven't read up on the comics, you're not going to know who Homelander is. I don't recall seeing Homelander the movie. You know, I know The Boys is a series. You can watch it. Homelander is in that series. But he's not as iconic as Freddy Krueger, is he? He's not well known as Freddy Krueger, is he? The same with Omni-Man. I believe Omni-Man is some kind of anime character. I would say anime is, as a whole anyway, is a niche form of entertainment. And Peacekeeper, I don't know a whole lot of. I know that John Cena is going to be the likeness of Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is from a comic, so you would have to know who he is. And that's the issue I have. You kind of have to, you either know them or you don't know them. But the thing is, I know Predator, I know Alien, I know Jason Voorhees, I know Freddy Krueger, I know Robocop, I know Terminator. I knew, and Joker as well. I mean, Joker is, you know, from Batman, and Batman is a very, like, mainstream. That's the word I want to emphasize. Mainstream. All of the previous guest fighters in Mortal Kombat were mainstream. These guest fighters are so niche. I'm not saying, look, if you're watching this and you love Homelander, and you watch The Boys and you love that, that's fine. But you need to understand that because you and, you know, a community watch that show, it doesn't make it any more mainstream. It's not mainstream. Neither is Omni-Man, neither is Peacekeeper. And that means that less players can connect to those guest fighters. So I am very disappointed with Mortal Kombat 1's guest fighters. I would have preferred if they had actually had returning guest fighters. When you consider that the main roster of Mortal Kombat fighters were all returning anyway. Like, they don't actually have, Mortal Kombat 1 doesn't actually have any new fighters. So I think in keeping with that, they should have had returning guest fighters. The likes of Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Alien, Predator, Robocop, Terminator, Rambo. I mean, these are big names. These are big names from big franchises that are absolutely mainstream. Absolutely. Again, Homelander, Omni-Man and Peacekeeper have a niche audience. If they didn't have a niche audience, you would have a... I mean, look at Freddy Krueger. I mean, how many movies are there of Freddy Krueger? 7, 8? They got a remake there, you know, a good number of years ago. They're talking about rebooting it. I mean, it's an iconic franchise. Same with Terminator, same with Robocop. These are mainstream franchises. I'm sorry, you may be a fan of Homelander, Omni-Man and Peacekeeper, which is completely fine, but you cannot say that they are mainstream. Now you might say, what does it matter, Johnny, if they're mainstream? Well, I already explained that. It matters because less people can have an emotional, personal connection to these fighters. Now you could argue that as a result, what it does is it gets more people to check out these shows. Oh, you know, these fighters are coming to Mortal Kombat 1, I suppose I better watch The Boys, or I suppose I better watch Omni-Man. I can't say that's working for me. I actually regret getting the premium edition. I actually gave into like consumer pressure, which never happens to me. All I can say is the guy that served me is good at his job. And he literally just said, like, would you like to pre-order the premium edition? And I was like, yeah, sure, why not? I regret that decision, looking back, because these guest fighters don't do anything for me, which is really disappointing. But what's actually annoying is I think I knew going into pre-ordering Mortal Kombat 1 which guest fighters were coming to Mortal Kombat 1, so I don't know why I pre-ordered it. Why I pre-ordered the premium edition. I don't know why. It was definitely consumer pressure. Absolutely. So I'm not excited for the guest fighters. I'm not looking forward to them. I don't really care for them. I don't really care about their moveset. I have them. I'm going to have them. I'm going to be stuck with them. It is what it is. I'll make the most of Mortal Kombat 1. I'll play it through towers with them and watch their character ending. But it will mean nothing to me because I don't know who they are. I suppose it'll be funny to see John Cena in Mortal Kombat because technically it is going to be John Cena. But yeah, it's not like, oh my god, it's Freddy Krueger in Mortal Kombat. Like, or oh my god, it's Jason Voorhees in Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I'm not excited. And again, I know, I mean, I'm not speaking for everyone. I know there's going to be people who are massive fans of Homelander, Omni-Man, and Peacekeeper. And I respect the fact that these are characters that have been around in comic and anime lore a hell of a lot longer than like The Boys came along, or like, you know, the movie, the Peacekeeper movie. I understand that. Like, it's just, you'd have to be into your comic culture. This is kind of where I start to get a little bit pissed off. And this is where I start to have an issue with Warner Brothers, you know, stepping in. No, look, without Warner Brothers, I don't think there would have been a Mortal Kombat after, I think the last one they made was, I think it was Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, yeah. That would have been the final of Mortal Kombat, I think. Because Midway Games went bust, and Midway Games were they were the original like publishers, I think, of Mortal Kombat. Warner Brothers stepped in, bought them out, and now we have NetherRealm Studios and Warner Brothers Games. Look, obviously we know that Warner Brothers own DC Comics, so you can just see like this like comic culture, like, you know, just infecting the lore of Mortal Kombat. Not the lore of Mortal Kombat, but just the like, look, you can be a die-hard Mortal Kombat fan and have never and not have read a comic book in your life. Like, Mortal Kombat is not a comic. Mortal Kombat is not part of comic culture. Okay? Like, whether NetherRealm Studios make Injustice, you know, whether they had Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe, look, Mortal Kombat is not a comic. It didn't originate as a comic, okay? It's not a comic. It has comics. I'm not going to confuse people. There is a comic based on Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat didn't originate as a comic. Mortal Kombat originated as an arcade game in the 90s. It's a fighting arcade game. That's what Mortal Kombat is. It's not a comic. But I feel like once Warner Brothers stepped in, because they have, like, you know, obviously they're Warner Brothers, and, you know, they own anything, like, they're Warner Brothers. Anything Warner Brothers can appear in Mortal Kombat, and the same goes for DC. So I just feel that this time around with guest fighters in Mortal Kombat, we just have too much comic guys and also anime. It's not diversive. It's not diversive anymore. Previous Mortal Kombat games had such a diversive roster of guest fighters. I mean, you had fighters from horror games, you had action movies, and comics along with it, and you had sci-fi. I mean, the sci-fi would obviously be Alien and Predator. You could argue that they're horror, but they're like kind of sci-fi horror. Like horror to me, like would be Jason Voorhees and Freddy Krueger. Then you have action, with obviously the likes of Terminator and Rambo, and Robocop. So there was such a diversive range of guest fighters, spanning from many different genres. Whereas if you look at the guest fighters in Mortal Kombat 1, they're all specific to comic and anime. It's such a niche audience. I don't care. Like, let me know what you think in the comment section below, but I don't care how you want to word it, really. I would happily have, like, a rant with you in the comment section below. Like, no matter how well you argue your case, it's a niche market. You can't put Homelander up there with Freddy Krueger. You can't put Omni-Man up there with the Joker. You can't put Peacekeeper up there with fucking Terminator. Because those are blockbuster names, AAA names, you know, from like mainstream franchises. So it's a massive letdown. I don't know what else I can add to it. It is a massive letdown. I've already said this on Mortal Kombat's Facebook page, because some guy just came out and said that the guest fighters suck. Well, everyone else, of course, like the comic guys and the anime guys, like, they're delighted. And of course they're going to be, because if you're an anime guy and you're a comic guy, and these are fighters that you can connect to, that you can relate to, obviously they're going to be excited. But anyone outside of that, like, is going to be looking at this and saying, yeah, this sucks. And I told them, I said, I 100% agree, and I pretty much kind of explained what I've been saying in this video to him. And it'd be interesting to see, like, the amount of, like, fanboys, you know, like the anime and comic fanboys kind of, like, you know, attacking me for my opinion. And that's what it is. It's just my opinion. I mean, I don't have any connection to Omni-Man or Homelander or Peacekeeper, and I don't want to. I don't want to get into these things because they're in Mortal Kombat. I couldn't care less. You know, I couldn't care less. I think the only real niche fighter that I can think of that came to Mortal Kombat was Spawn. Because even though Spawn is a comic and it is popular among people, it's not as mainstream as, like, the likes of, you know, Joker or Batman or whatever else. But I grew up with Spawn. So I was lucky enough to have that, you know, personal connection to Spawn. But I don't have a personal connection to Homelander, Peacekeeper, or Omni-Man. I don't want to make this video too long. How long has this video been going on for now? Okay, I'd say about 2 more minutes. Yeah, so look, I'm not shitting on Homelander, Omni-Man, definitely Omni-Man. I've seen what he can do. Not pissing him off. And Peacekeeper, I'm not shitting on them. I just have to say that I don't have any connection to those characters. It's hard to, like, get excited for characters that you have no connection to. And I think that is as a result of them having such a niche audience. I don't know what the thinking was behind it. I really don't know. Like, I feel like they probably went with the most. No, just because something is popular doesn't mean it's mainstream. Can I just say that? Like, there's probably TikTok videos that are popular. You know, it doesn't mean they're mainstream. Doesn't mean I've fucking seen those. I mean, there could be TikTok videos that have, like, fucking, you know, 20 million views. I haven't watched them. I'm sure the person beside me hasn't watched them. You have to be a TikTok user to know, wouldn't you? That's my point. You have to be a TikTok user to see these big hit videos. You know, but if you're not a TikTok user, it's completely irrelevant to you. mainstream is something that everyone sees. You know, everyone is aware of. Everyone knows Freddy Krueger. Everyone knows Jason Voorhees. Everyone knows Terminator, RoboCop. You know, everyone knows these characters because they're mainstream. So it doesn't matter how popular it is. I mean, do you know what I'm saying? Obviously, like NetherRealm Studios or Warner Bros. Or whoever made the decision, obviously they looked and said, okay, you know, let's go with the most popular shows, you know, that we feel like fighters from that show can fit into Mortal Kombat. Obviously, The Boys is very popular. Obviously, On-Demand is. They wouldn't be in the game if they weren't popular. Obviously, they're popular. But as I mentioned, popular doesn't necessarily mean mainstream. There's a difference between popular and mainstream. I mean, you could be the popular kid in school. Doesn't mean the whole world knows who you fucking are. So, popular and mainstream, not the same thing. Not the same thing. So look, let me know what you think. I'm extremely disappointed. I know that some of my viewers are very happy with this. I know that my viewers are, some of my viewers anyway, are big into, like, you know, comic and anime culture. So I feel like I'm probably going to be like the only person really like with this opinion on the channel. But look, I'd love to hear what you think. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will see you next time on Green Hill Gaming.